All right, we are back. Brandon Smith.
We are back.
We are. Brandon Smith hanging out with us, the workplace therapist. Do you ever have that moment where you're in an office and you're clicking over to a website and you don't know if your sound is on or off and you think something's about to start playing really loud on your computer?
Yes.
And you have that moment of like internal panic. You know you've done it, Tiana.
That's me every day in studio.
Yeah, I just like hit the like sound off button on my laptop just to be sure.
Right.
Like I had that like maybe my sound's on, you know.
Okay, well, my sound was on, so
and my phone's okay. Yeah, everybody's. Usually we say like when people come in, make sure all your stuff is turned off, and then I'm the one who forgets and leaves my stuff on.
It's true.
You see your phone, your watch.
I know I had a lot of things.
All discombobulated.
It was a whole thing. So let's get back to.
There's medication for this too. This whole like all this.
Yeah, but if I were medicated, I wouldn't be nearly as
you really
fun.
wouldn't be.
Yeah. So
you're much better on medicated.
I stay off the meds just for all of you to enjoy.
It's good.
Okay, so we were talking about workplace politics.
Yes.
And we were talking about allies and advocates and brand.
Yes.
And you threw out there that you had the best technique, the best in the world.
The period. Best period. Hashtag best.
In the world for solving this problem.
Yes.
For navigating the world of corporate politics.
It's true.
All right. Bring it on, Brandon Smith.
Okay, so the technique is called pre-wiring.
Okay.
So the term pre-wiring was coined by McKinsey, the consulting firm.
Okay.
So if you know much about strategy consulting, they are the creme de la creme of all strategy consulting firms globally.
Okay.
And so they sell strategy. That's what they sell. Nothing more amorphous to sell than strategy. And they sell it to big companies.
Right.
Governments.
I could do that.
To what?
Sell strategy.
Sell strategy?
I sell strategy every day on the radio.
Sure. You do. I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah,
so we're going to keep on going. And what they have learned is in order to get all these political players to buy in, they have to pre-wire.
Okay.
So when they have the big meeting where they pitch the idea, the meeting's really already a formality. They've already had all of the pre-meetings with all the key players.
Okay.
Now, the idea, that concept is not new. So while they call it pre-wiring, other people call it socializing an idea, pre-selling. In Japanese, it's called nemawashi. Culturally, this is what you do in Japan to get stuff done.
I like that.
You have...
Nemawashi?
I think that's how you say it.
I'm going to say that
nemawashi.
A lot. And I'll be wrong. I'll be saying
if you know much about Japanese
elephant.
business culture, you don't debate, you don't make decisions in meetings.
Okay.
You agree with whatever the boss says. All the decisions are made actually in closed doors behind the official meeting.
Got it.
Drives Americans nuts when they have to kind of
because they show up, they think they're going to present something, and
they think there's going to be a debate, conversation, or discussion. It's no.
Right.
That should have already happened.
Okay.
So the idea is you have these pre-conversations, so you can get buy-in, you can align with the key stakeholders, the key players.
Okay. Now let me ask you something, because I'm envisioning a situation where, let's say you need 10 people, 10 different departments or whatever it is, managers, to say yes to something.
Yep.
But you're politicking, if you will, pre-wiring, going ahead of time. Are you doing that sort of in little one-on-ones? Because that feels maybe sneaky. Is it sneaky?
It is intentional.
Intentionally sneaky.
Intentional.
You're not using the word sneaky, which I appreciate.
No,
but
it's intentional. So what you have to do, let me add a couple more elements to this. Okay, so I gave a high level.
Yeah, sure.
All the details matter.
Okay.
So if you're in a meeting, if you go to a decision-making meeting, you got to make a decision, and there's more than 5 people in the room, it's not a decision-making meeting. It's a political event.
Okay.
You've just been invited to a political event.
So if there's more than 5 in the room.
If you know more than 5 people are going to be there and you've got to get a decision to get made, you better pre-wire.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to be really frustrated.
Okay.
Okay. So when you pre-wire...
Gosh, I wish I knew you before.
Very tactically, okay, there's only 2 kinds of people in the room you have to pre-wire. The key decision maker, there's typically 1 or 2, okay, and you find them, you meet them ahead of time. It only takes 20 minutes to pre-wire somebody.
Okay.
You ask for 20 minutes. You don't ask for an hour. If you ask for an hour of a key decision maker, what's going to happen?
They'll say no.
Well, they'll say, you can get on my calendar in 6 weeks.
Okay. They'll say no or not right now.
If you say 20 minutes, you can get on anybody's calendar within a week.
Okay.
Ask for 20 minutes, you pitch the idea, get their feedback, make any tweaks you need to, but essentially use their words, tailor it so it feels like theirs. Everyone kind of gets that.
Okay.
But there's one more group that no one ever thinks about.
All right.
Okay. Probably the most important group. I call them the vocal players.
Okay.
Okay. These are the corporate saboteurs.
Yeah. Oh, I was one of those, I think.
Okay. These are the people who think their entire job is to tell in meetings, say no.
The devil's advocate.
Blow up everybody's ideas.
Yeah.
Because that's how their value is seen.
Right. Like, I can pick this apart and tell you what's wrong with it.
There's only one in a meeting, because if there's more than one, they kill each other. Okay, so there's only one.
Yeah.
And the thing about vocal players is they're always going to be vocal. They're either going to be vocal for you or vocal against you.
I like that. Okay.
So you've got to pre-wire them so they're on your side. Because if I put on my therapist hat...
So they may not actually be the key decision maker,
No.
but they have a big mouth.
They have a big mouth.
Okay.
And so they're either going to... they're the corporate saboteurs. They blow up stuff.
Okay.
They blow up stuff. They get in people's way. They blow up stuff, derail.
And I think everybody listening probably is picturing the person in their office who is that.
Yeah.
We all know who that is.
Yeah. Every time I talk about this in groups, people nod and they look at each other and there's that look. There's like knowing look of
Right, like, oh yeah, that's Joe.
Yeah,
we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you have to pre-wire them. Now the problem is we don't like to give them our ideas because we don't want to give them any fuel.
Right.
Is what we think. But if I put on my therapist hat, their core need is to be heard.
Yes.
So if that's their core need, what should you do?
Well, I think
listen to them.
But Brendan, are people afraid of that because they're afraid then they won't get credit? Maybe that person will sort of take the idea and take credit for it?
No, vocal players won't seize ownership of it.
Okay.
What they'll do is they're either going to argue on your behalf or argue against you.
Okay.
They won't take ownership of it.
And theoretically, if you pre-wired by talking to the decision maker first, then they already know it was your idea because you already talked to them about it, right?
Yeah. You're pre-wiring the decision makers and the vocal players. So when it's done well, it's a beautiful thing. You're presenting something, someone asks you a question, key decision maker steps in and answers it on your behalf.
Okay, so if you go into a company and you're training this, because this is the kind of thing you do on a regular basis, right? You're working within companies and you're...
Yep.
Okay, and so if you're explaining this theory to a company, are they all do they all run around and start pre-wiring each other?
Yes.
And does everybody know what's happening?
Yes.
Like, in other words, does knowing that you're being pre-wired affect you?
You still do.
If I'm the key decision maker
works.
and I'm like, oh, here comes Brandon, he's about to try to pre-wire me. Doesn't matter.
It still works.
Okay.
Because that's what people want. So for key decision makers, they don't want any surprises.
Yeah, okay.
They want to be told ahead of time.
All right.
So they appreciate it. They know and they see it as good communication.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I can see this, like what you're describing, I can see as the kind of thing where right now everybody listening who doesn't know this, which was me 2 minutes ago, I didn't know this technique. I wish I had. Like I said, I probably would have had a very different career. Best, period. Right, but I also can see that understanding it, like hearing you explain it now and understanding it is one thing, but actually starting to put it into practice, you probably do need coaching and, I mean, you need practice. This is not the kind of thing you're going to nail on the first try.
No, and you also have to be open to the fact that they might say, no, that's not going to work. You need to make adjustments.
Yeah.
Key decision maker might say that, but I'd rather hear that over coffee than in a big meeting.
In front of 10 other people, yeah.
And it might give me enough time to make adjustments, so when I do walk in the door, I'm in line,
right?
And she is really thrilled, or he's really thrilled. And then what happens is they'll step in, they'll argue on your behalf, like answer questions on your behalf, and the vocal player will stay silent almost the whole meeting.
Okay.
At the very end of the meeting, they'll make some big grandiose statement like, "This was the best meeting I've been to in months," and people are stunned. And then the decision gets made.
So
I've done this with groups of 50 before, and it works fantastic.
So I think also it sounds like the key thing, too, is to not fall so in love with every little piece of your idea that you're unwilling to make tweaks. Because if you go to that key decision maker for your pre-wire and they say, well, that's all good except this, and this.
You have to be able to make tweaks.
Okay.
You have to.
Okay.
You have to. It's essentially kind of like trying on clothes. This is the tailoring part. So you're taking it to see if it fits just right.
Yeah.
And you might have to make a few little adjustments on the hem and to get that just right.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
It's again better to do it beforehand. And so then when the decision happens in the decision making meeting, it's so smooth and so seamless. No pun intended. Maybe a little bit.
A little bit of a pun intended.
It just gets made.
Yeah.
The decision gets done.
Yeah.
You cut through politics and you actually get actions and decisions to happen.
Yeah, I think I like that. It makes a lot of sense. And I think that also when you're really brilliant and you have a great idea, sometimes
like you.
I have a lot of good ideas, but then if you give other people time to digest your idea too, instead of like, here it is in the meeting, everybody do what I say. Yeah. If you're giving people a little time to absorb it and think about it, their suggestions sometimes are better than your original. They make the original idea better, and sometimes if they're on the spot, they won't necessarily come up with those ideas quite as quickly, or not at all. They'll just get frustrated and say the whole thing is bad. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can see a lot of advantages to this. So, but I know you're talking about a lot of bigger companies, you were talking about groups of 50 and all of that, but can it work in smaller companies as well?
As long as you have those dynamics. If you have a vocal player, absolutely. You have no choice but to pre-wire.
Okay.
Vocal players want to be heard.
Yeah.
And they want to feel like they're in the loop early. And the problem is we generally don't like to spend time with them. You're just going to make them, we don't. And then you're just going to make them more vocal.
Yeah.
Because if their core needs to be heard and you're not listening to them, they get louder.
Well, ostensibly, they might feel like they're caught off guard. They show up to the meeting. They don't seem to know what's going on. They haven't heard about this idea yet. They're like immediately going to naysay it. It's a bad idea.
But vocal players are a force. And so, there's a martial arts form called Aikido.
Yeah.
And if you know much about Aikido, the whole idea is you use your opponent's energy.
Oh, yeah.
You redirect your opponent's energy. You never attack. You never punch. You redirect. That's what this is. It's corporate Aikido.
Okay. I feel like I've just been I've been schooled.
Now there is one way we screw this up.
Oh, one? Okay.
One big way.
Yeah.
But we're going to have to talk about that.
Brandon
after
Smith. And
the break.
This is actually Brandon Smith and the Art of the Tease on the Dana Barrett Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.